What's good with it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome to the Meat Pack Sports Talk Show. Salami Squad in the building. It's your boy Mike Rogers. Got my slime with me, Mike Richman. Say what's up to him.
Sup, dude? Let's go.
Yeah, dig. What's going on, people? Today's 12/15/2020, Tuesday. Beautiful evening. Always is. We here to do our thing. A little Tuesday football recap. Talk about some games we saw. What we thinking about that. Let's get down with it. First game we want to talk about, last night, Monday Night Football. That is what Monday Night Football is all about. That's some shit. You get some popcorn, you get your family around, sit in front of TV, watch a game like that. Monday Night Football was built for that Browns-Ravens game we saw last night, dude. That was easily game of the year. That was the best game I've seen Monday Night Football since like 3 years ago, that Rams and the Chiefs game. That was easily up there.
Finishing score 47-42.
Shoes. Points getting dropped.
9 points, dude. That's insane. If you bet on the spread for the Browns +3, RIP. They covered it all the way through. They were doing that schoolyard bullshit at the end and then ended up getting safety and didn't cover the spread because of that. So I'd be absolutely livid. I said money line like a dummy there, but yeah, I mean, that game was insane, dude. We saw the most running touchdowns ever on Monday Night Football in one game. It was just insane. I mean, both these teams came out to play. We had that little thing where Lamar had to go back because of some cramps. You've been seeing all the memes saying everyone's saying he had to go take a huge shit, dude.
There's no way he didn't. He had to.
Like literally, what it was either that or cleats was my guess. I mean, they wrote it up as cramps, but I mean, the game was insane. Big fuck up from the boy Cody Parkey, Browns kicker. He missed a field goal and an extra point. So, I mean, you add those points onto the board, possible W from them. So, I mean,
yeah, they had made that field goal early on, and I know Bears fans are still probably reeling. Mr. Cody Park there, double doink himself. But yeah, I mean that was obviously today the Browns are still sitting at a better record by one game. But these are two teams, honestly, I don't think I'd want to see in the playoffs. You know, we've been kind of teetering all year back and forth on, you know, kind of what's been going on with the Ravens here and there. They haven't looked the same. And yesterday, I mean, they looked dominant. They look like the Ravens. But, you know, it's especially when you get into this December and January football, you got to be able to run the football. You got to be able to defend the run. And this is two teams that absolutely put that on display last night. I mean, we're talking about two teams here that just couldn't stop each other's offense, and it was all blown up because of the run game. Obviously, what Lamar Jackson is able to do is insane. He did look great last night. Had to go take a little boo-boo. You know, had to go take care of some stuff. He came back out, and them boys was hot. That's 100% what he had to do.
He came right back out, threw a touchdown on that drive, too. I mean, and Lamar looked like Lamar during this game. Like, he was rushing like he hasn't really been able to this year. So, I mean, looking down the playoff picture, like you said, next 3 games for the Ravens, they got the Jags, Giants, and Bengals, and pretty much all 3 of those are easy W's for them. So, I mean, Ravens are on some shit, but literally on some shit. But, I mean, the Browns are also going to be in the playoffs most likely, so we'll see what both these teams can do. Just a little sidebar here. Why is Myles Garrett up for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award? Like, why is that a thing?
He'd be helping that community, bro.
Yeah, he also almost committed murder on live television last year.
That's all right. That's all right. We accept Mike Vick. You know, you just get over things. It's all right. Dude's been out here with the community, dude, dropping checks.
Yeah, I know. It's just wild, though. I mean, good for him, obviously, that turnaround or whatever. And he's an outstanding defensive player. I mean, we're talking some of the craziest amount of sacks you'll ever see. But I don't know, dude. 1 year turnaround from Bop. Mason Rudolph on the noggin, almost homicide on the field.
I mean, this is 3 years in a row where Myles Garrett is finishing at least with a minimum of 10 sacks. You know, I told you, I bet in 10 years that dude's going to have a gold jacket around his waist. I really think he's that good. And, you know, going into this game, I did like the Browns as a better team. And I kind of sit here today and still just kind of think that, even though, I mean, these two teams are just, I wouldn't say built the same, but it's all about that run game. Obviously, I think Browns, if I had to take any running back core in the league, I'm just taking the Browns because Nick Chubb is that dude. Kareem Hunt can get it done on the ground and receiving. He had himself a receiving touchdown.
Yes, he did.
And I mean, hey, Baker threw a nasty pick at one point. I wouldn't even really say that pick was Baker's fault. That they made a great play on defense. The Ravens did, and that was just a hype game. That was a fun game. Two rival teams, two teams that are fighting for the same spot. And like you said, I think they both make the playoffs. But that was just an awesome game to watch last night, dude. That is why we love football. Just a shout out to Justin Tucker too, bro. That boy cold-blooded, bro. Got
literally
it in
a robot.
veins,
Literally
dude.
a robot. Does not miss kicks.
Does
on the
not
other against that
kicks.
Cody Parkey as well, who kind of fumbled it up for him. So you like to see that, dude. Oh, Justin Tucker, dude.
You like to see that, bro.
Just good cross.
Yeah. Just good football played overall, man. That was, like you said, like 80-something points, rushing touchdowns. I mean, that's just good, hard-nosed football, with two teams that just have been playing like that this year. And going forward, like I said, I don't really know who I like more. I don't know, but come playoff times, I don't want to see either one of these teams because you got to be able to stop that run, and that's kind of what playoff football is all about. But hey, shout out to the Ravens getting it done. Shout out Lamar's anus for also getting it done, letting him come back out, drop some dimes. So yeah, shout out to the Ravens. But other than that, we're just going to go down the list of the games, do what we do, talk a little shit about some shit. We're going to start off with the Patriots and the Rams. I've been on the Rams train all season. I sit here right now today, and my take, I think the Rams are a top 5 team in the NFL. I really do. My only problem with the Rams is the consistency of Jared Goff. But this team is now sitting 34-0 when they lead at half under Sean McVay. I think they have the best corner in the league that can guard any team star player. They have the best interior lineman in the league in Aaron Donald. And then the whole rest of that defense, I think, is solid. Like I said, good wide receivers, good running backs. O-line plays a little weak. I've said that before, but I really do like the Rams. I think this team can win a playoff game. And, I mean, they beat up on the Patriots a little bit, so, I don't know how much we want to take into that. But I seriously just like the Rams top to bottom. Like I said, at face value, a little bit on the Jared Goff consistency side, but we've said before, when he's comfortable, he's a great quarterback, and they can get it done. Like I said, just coaching, talent, star players. I just like the Rams. To me, a top 5 team in the NFL. I really think they could go somewhere deep.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the Patriots for a little bit here. I mean, Cam Newton on the Patriots is just stinky, brother. Like, really not good. Had another bad game from him here. He threw another pick 6, and he was stopped short running on 4th down, which is kind of his thing. He's been that big body QB, gonna get a few yards when I run. And they stopped him, dude. Yeah, and honestly, this season for the Patriots, he looks like a wide receiver playing Wildcat. Like, he's just really not doing the right thing. And the Patriots defense just gave up a little bit too much, bro. I mean, it wasn't enough for Cam. Shout out Jake Bailey, the punter. He had 6 punts, 4 of them pinned in the 20. Coffin kicks, that best drill in Madden, dude. So shout out him. But also for the Patriots, they got undrafted rookie Miles Bryant, who picked off Goff and had a clean coverage sheet, wasn't scored on. So good for him. But the Rams just controlled that line of scrimmage on both sides, offense and defense. So it's just insane. Aaron Donald right now is on pace to be the first defensive tackle to lead the NFL in sacks twice ever.
Yeah, I mean, he is that good. And, Jared Goff, didn't really have too great of a game, but we got big yardage out of Cam Akers at the running spot. I think this is a team where if some form of the team is slacking, other forms of it can step up.
And they got Henderson back there too at that running back. They really got options because both of them have kind of been in and out that cycle, getting work done from week to week. So
that's the thing. Yeah, they definitely don't have a true number one, which I guess you could look at as a problem. But when you have 3 guys that could step up at any given point and give you some yardage, I like it. And like I said, defense is good, and that's kind of been the Patriots' song all year. We saw with just them just not being able to really produce on offense. A lot of it kind of just being Cam Newton making mistakes, a lot of them just not having the talent like that. And I've said before, the fact that they're even sitting at what they are, 6-7 or whatever, is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
But the Rams looked really good. I don't know, really good is a little strong, but they look good against.
It was a very strong defensive game from them.
It was, and like I said though, when running the ball in defense, you get into December, January. Little hiccup, burp action. Sorry. a little laugh mixed in. But yeah, when you get into December, January football, you need to be able to play defense and run the football, stop the run. And I think that's what the Rams are built for. So I really like them going forward. Like I said, I can only name about 4 teams I think are better in the league as a whole, but we'll leave that open for discussion. But shout out to LA and the boys getting it done. Next game we want to talk about is the Titans Jaguars, and the Titans just kind of went out there, did what they should do. Derrick Henry, dude, is just you take it out, put it in, turn it up. Dude, just eating.
Derrick Henry this season has 1,532 yards and 14 tutties. Dude, straight running himself right into Canton, Ohio. Like, absolutely insane season after season. I mean, it's crazy. And then we've said this on the show before, but when Tannehill can match him and also have a good game in the air, there is no one that's going to stop them. I mean, did you see that A.J. Brown hand to God catch, dude? One fucking mitt right in the glove, dude, is beautiful. I mean,
AJ Brown's turning into a star, dude. AJ Brown is turning into a star in front of our very eyes. Dude, that dude is a gamer. And like you said, if Derrick Henry's hot and Ryan Tannehill can also be hot, there is, that's a good thing I would say about the Titans is sometimes Derrick Henry is good enough to where Tannehill could maybe have an off game and they'd still get a dub. But when they're both on, that is such a good football team. And like I said, with Derrick Henry, with just dummy yardage, 14 touchdowns on the season. We got 3 more games left.
That's insane.
Just a monster. The only thing that just ever worries me about Derrick Henry is thinking in a couple of years. I mean, that dude just gets hit. I know he's just way bigger than everybody else, so a lot of people just end up falling off of him. But, man, that's just violent at the running back position. But, yeah, shout out to the Titans, dude. They're legit. They're going to be a playoff team. I'm hyped to see who they get matched up with. Like I said, this is another team. Now, I look at the Titans compared to a Browns and a Ravens. I don't think their front seven and their rush defense is as good as those teams for sure. But the fact that they're able to just run the football that well, it's going to be hard for some teams to stop. But like I said, when we start looking at matchups and stuff and whatnot into January, I'd have to make some decisions. But I think the Titans will be there. Like I said, they're 1 year removed from an AFC championship, and Jacksonville did what they did. 1-12. I mean,
let's talk about Jacksonville a little bit. I think we've been a little bit too high on Mike Glennon. Came out, had a stinker. They put Gardner in there a little bit. Also didn't play that well. All that neck. But, I mean, yeah, the Jags are just having trouble getting anything going. And obviously in the offseason, they have to figure out that QB position. It's just a hot fucking mess right now. I mean, they're most likely going to draft someone, so we'll see if that pays off for them or not. But the bright spot for them has been James Robinson, dude. He is on pace to break the record for most yards by undrafted free agent rookie running back. Right now, only 6 undrafted free agent rookie running backs in NFL history have over 1,000 rushing yards. He just passed 1,000 with that game, totaling 1,035. And the record for the most is 1,104. And with 3 games left, they're going to get that. So, I mean, shout out him. I mean, just going undrafted and coming in having a season like that on a shitty-ass team is extremely impressive. So, I'm super high on James Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville is ass, but like you said, I think they do have some bright spots. James Robinson, they got a couple good receivers, a couple good players.
Got some really good young talent. Like I said, they just have to figure out that QB spot.
No, they do, and that might, and they have a lot of draft picks, so the Jacksonville thing might come together, I think, quicker than some people think. They could possibly turn that around in a year or two if they manage to get that quarterback right. So, like I said, that's going to be an off season. Jacksonville is going to be an off season. I really pay attention to.
They have a ridiculous amount of draft picks.
Yeah, they got a lot of money to spend too, so we're going to see how that goes. But next game we're going to talk about is Minnesota Vikings, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously Tampa Bay got the win, and early in the year I was saying, I think at one point, dude, I took a leap and said I think Tampa Bay fuck around win the Super Bowl, which is getting a little shaky now. And I look at the Tampa Bay Bucs right now, and obviously they won the game against the Vikings, and it is going to be a playoff team. I even think they can win a game in the playoffs. I really do. But to me, I don't really know what this team's kind of about right now. To me, it just seems very face heavy that, just a bunch of really, really good players on a team. I just don't really know the cut of their jib. I'm not sure what their culture and whatnot is. It just feels very sloppy at sometimes. And But like I said, you get to a point though where the talent on the field is going to overcome a lot of shit, and you're going to win some football games because the players are just that good. And I mean, listen, Tom Brady went out and kind of did his thing. Rojo has been Rojo all year, super underrated. Like I said, they got a plethora of wide receivers to throw to. So that's just what I've been looking and noticing about Tampa is just they're good. They have a really, really good rush defense, which is good. They've obviously started to slow down as a defense a whole lately.
Shaq Barrett, dude.
Shaq Barrett, dude, was literally, last year almost defensive player of the year, had a breakout season, and like I said, they've been playing good. They've been doing enough to obviously get to 8-5. They think they're sitting at the 6th seed, whatever they're sitting at. But I'm not really sure what they are, and then on Minnesota's side, I mean, Kirk Cousins was doing a little bit. Dalvin Cook was doing Dalvin Cook things, but,
Let me tell you about the Vikings here. I mean, it came down to missed field goals and not protecting the QB. I mean, Cousins was sacked 6 times versus Brady not being touched once, so literally not being touched.
And if Brady doesn't get touched, dude, you're not going to win that game.
Yeah,
that's just
seriously.
Period.
But like I was saying, Dan Bailey missed 3 field goals. He's now 12 for 18 on the season with 3 missed extra points. Dude's literally going to get fired this week or next week. They just held a tryout for Texas A&M kicker Taylor Bertolet. Sorry if I didn't say that right. But I mean, Dan Bailey, dude, that's one of those names. Like I draft him like every year in fantasy because I'm like, oh, I know who that is. And I don't know, he's just really not playing that good this year. So, I mean, that sucks for him. But story with the Vikings is every time it's a close contention game, 1-score game, they win every time. But if it's more than 1 score, they just cannot finish out in the 4th quarter. And, you can contribute that to whatever. But I don't know. The Bucs going forward in the playoffs, like you said, preseason, literally stacked top to bottom. It looks like an NBA super team. Like the roster is insane. But like you said, it's just a culture problem. I mean, I don't know if they're not really, well glued together team at this point, if they just need more time together, whatever it may be. But I don't know. They should literally only have like 2 losses looking at the players they have.
Yeah, no, for real. And like you said, I think this 100% is the biggest team that would have benefited with having, training camps on a preseason for sure. I think this would look like a different football team if that was the case. Obviously bringing in Tom Brady and whatnot. And, it just kind of was, like I said, they make the playoffs. I really do think they can win a playoff game.
They're at 6th seed, yep. And then Vikings moved down to 7th with that. So, I mean, they're both still right there in it.
Both still right there in it. And I'm going to hold on to the Bucs going forward just because I fucking hate him, bro. But that TB12 dude is going to figure some shit out in the mental to, I think, walk away with some dubs. So shout out to Tampa Bay. It's beautiful down here in Tampa. So good for them. I'll be rooting for them. Next game we want to talk about, though, is some Kansas City Chiefs, Patty Mahomes versus the Miami Dolphins. Here's the thing. This has been, honestly, like 3 games in a row where I don't think Kansas City has looked all that impressive. And this game on Sunday, Patrick Mahomes, low-key, I don't really think had a good game, and the dude's still almost 4 for 400. It's just kind of insane. He obviously had 3 picks that tied his career high, and the Chiefs weren't really able to establish anything running. But, hey, I don't want to – I said this a couple weeks ago or maybe last week when I was talking about the Bucs versus the Chiefs and not taking too much away from the team that lost. I mean, Kansas City, like you said, I don't think they played that well, and they still went out and did that to an incredible defense, which is crazy to me. And, obviously Tua had some numbers himself. He threw a pick himself too. And biggest thing with Miami is just obviously we know that defense is going to take care of things for the most part.
I think they're best in the league at this point.
I could definitely get down with that argument. It's just kind of been creating that offense, we like Gaskin at the running back position. It just hasn't been very consistent. I like some of the receivers they have, tight end Gesicki. It just has not been consistent all year. But I mean, hey, they're still sitting at an 8-5 record. I deep down knew that the Kansas City were going to win this game against the Dolphins. I just didn't know how. And I'll say Miami looked damn impressive. And like I said, for Kansas City, I think having a bad game, they still look fucking great, which is crazy to me.
I mean, yeah, and exactly like you said, this is statistically the worst game the Chiefs have played in the Mahomes era. So, I mean, take that how you will. But this Dolphins defense is insane. Xavier Howard has an interception, and this was his 5th straight game. That's so crazy. And I mean, they held the Chiefs to 33, and to say they held them to 33 is insane. Like the Chiefs could have scored probably at least 65 on them. Yeah. Patty Mahomes had them 3 picks. He had that one play where he rolled out of the pocket for a 30-yard negative sack. Like it was just really bad. Like
a little nonchalant, dude.
He was just trying to do a little bit too much, and I think he was a little unexpecting how good the Dolphins defense really is. And so, I mean, they went out there and did the damn thing. But like you said, I mean, 33-27 is a great game of football.
Yeah, it was. And, I've been on the Dolphins thing all year. Like I said, good coaching, great culture, good defense. They got it going good. And like I said, even if they don't make any noise and whatnot in the playoffs, everything so far has just been a dub for Miami. And, I gave a hot take probably about week 6 or 7 whenever they decided to put Tua in about them potentially just kind of testing the water to him to see if he really is the long-term option. Which, I mean, I think he is. I think he's a winner. I think he's going to be out. He's deadly accurate, which is going to be scary. But, I still like Miami. I still have Kansas City. I think winning the Super Bowl, there just hasn't been much to
How can you not? How can you not?
Otherwise, it's pretty much just, to me, is going to be up to who the NFC the matchup's going to be. But I don't know. Shout out to the Chiefs, man. Shout out to the Dolphins, man, for playing hard as shit. That was a really fun game to watch. Another fun game to watch, which I've got to swallow some shit here. my boy Drew Lock and the Denver Broncos, the Carolina Panthers, a couple bad teams, good football game. And I'm going to be 100% honest. Drew Lock, low-key, looked kind of elite out that joint, dude. Super efficient, 21 for 27, bro. Had himself 4 tugs. That was a really good game from him. I was really impressed. Now, same thing I kind of said with the Patriots. It gets against the Panthers, who, I mean, granted, they have a young defense. They got some stud players on there, and they play hard too. But, so that is what it is. But Drew Lock actually looked really impressive to me. This is like 3 weeks in a row. Melvin Gordon's been looking really good. And the Broncos are another one of those teams where I really like the receiving core. I don't think anyone is elite, but I think they have very, very good players on there. Solid 1 through 3, 1 through 4 guys that can go out and get it on any given night. And Drew Lock, low-key, made it happen last night. Teddy Bridgewater was aight, and I think that the Panthers are really suffering from not having Christian McCaffrey. We've said before, obviously, Mike Davis stepping in has been kind of doing the thing.
All right, for sure.
But, just McCaffrey gives you that versatile option on offense. But I definitely got to give some props to the Broncos. They look really good. Drew Lock looked really, really good. So I got to give it up to that.
This was the first game in his career where Drew Lock threw for a touchdown and not an interception. Mm-hmm. So shout out for him there. And like you said, he was just dummy efficient, the 4 tutties, et cetera. But, end of the day is I actually got my notes mixed up a little bit here, so I'm not going to say that part. But looking at the Panthers here, they've had 6 different QBs playing since 2018 due to injuries, trade, et cetera. And the boy DJ Moore has just about 3,000 yards. He was drafted in 2018, playing with all them quarterbacks. So that's insane to just be such good of an option that it really doesn't matter who's throwing it. Just fucking throw it to me.
Steve Smith right there.
Exactly. Yep. And ice up, son. But I don't know. I really want to see the Panthers figure it out. I'm really hoping Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Two Gloves ends up being the guy for them because they need that dominant guy. Ever since Cam kind of fell off a little bit and they moved on, they really haven't been able to figure it out. So I hope Teddy's the guy for him. Like you said, it's a good team. DJ Moore is insane. I'm telling you, like in the next 5 years, he's going to run up some more numbers. Like,
yeah, no, he's good. I like Robbie Anderson. They went out and got Robbie Anderson for the Jets. Yep. Curtis Samuel's good. Like I said, the Panthers are a young, exciting team. They got some players that just, first-year quarterback, first-year, coach, obviously losing McCaffrey. So, they got some kinks to work out. But I think they're going to be all right going forward. Is Teddy Bridgewater the guy? I don't know if he's a guy. I think he's going to be the guy for the Panthers just because, he's got like 3 years left on a deal. They owe him a lot of money, so obviously you're going to pay him.
And he's really playing quite well. I mean, he's just, like you said, not the guy level play, but I mean, he's going out there getting the job done. Panthers have been my team against the spread. Like they've just been throwing points up on the board pretty much every week.
Yeah, they are. It's just an explosive, young, fun team to watch. And, But I got to tip my hat to the Broncos, man, going out there getting it done. They look really good. So shout out Drew Lock. Still as fuck Drew Lock over here. So we just gonna move on from that. Now that we want to talk about quarterbacks, we're gonna talk about a guy. This boy Mitch Trubisky, dude. Past couple weeks, low-key been running up a check on these boys, bro. They kind of went out there and whopped on the Texans. I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky ended up with 3 touchdowns with no picks. They were able to get a running game again. They've been getting more back into the groove of having a run game. David Montgomery, Allen Robinson receiving. Like, they just kind of went out there and embarrassed the Texans.
The Texans are one of 4. Texans are one of 4 teams to ever let Mitch Trubisky pass for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. That includes college.
That's kind of crazy if you think about it. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the Texans. And like I said, I was ready to just ride off the Bears too completely. I thought the Texans easily won this game, but god damn, Mr. Trubisky out there.
Bears first game with over 30 points, literally in a year. So, I mean, it was good to see him go out there and, get it done. But the Texans have just been a fucking hot mess ever since earlier in the season. We saw Bill O'Brien in there literally just fucking everything up internally. They fire him and still really haven't been able to come back from that. I mean, Deshaun Watson just deserves better, dude. He's such a talent. I'm so high on him. And then on the other side of the ball, J.J. Watt literally came out and was like, I don't want to be here if we're going to lose. So, yeah. I mean, that's just a bad vibe, especially coming from your leader in the locker room.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you said, Deshaun deserves better. They need to make it happen because he just signed a fresh deal. So he's about to be there for a minute. So they got to figure it out quick to, get that talent around him to win. Because I mean, personally, I think Deshaun Watson is good enough to lead a team to a Super Bowl. That dude is dummy talented. But I don't know. We'll see going forward. And then I said there on the other side with Chicago, like, their quarterback room, like, what's that going to look like going forward? I don't think Mitch is paid yet. And obviously Nick Foles got a bunch of money left on a deal. You just went back and forth with going with Foles, going with Trubisky. Now Trubisky's out here looking all right the past couple weeks. So, and I think that'd be good if Mitch Trubisky they think is the guy going forward. Obviously Nick Foles has proven he's a great backup quarterback. So, I don't know. I think they'll be all right. It was good to see him be able to produce some offense, though. Because like you said, that's been a problem for a year for them. And Matt Nagy, Mitch Trubisky went out there, figured it out. So, and
Matt Nagy's kind of been on that chopping block past couple of weeks. People talk about they don't know if he's going to have a job or not. So, I mean, the Bears needed this win for sure.
They did, and I don't see the argument with Nagy losing his job, but I get it. But hey, shout out to Chicago. Went out there, looked like a good football team. Next game we want to talk about, and the team that I've been super high on is New York Giants with the Cardinals. Cardinals kind of went out there and did the thing. This was a good win for the Cardinals. Like you said, this is a team that needed that win. Kyler Murray was able to get done in the air. They got some good rushing out of Kenyon Drake and whatnot, and Giants just kind of came out and were flat. Obviously, I don't know. I think this is more or less, to me, the Giants, how high I've been on them, just kind of based, like I said, off coaching and hard play. I think this was a game where, like you said, I think the Giants have a collection of very, very good players, but nobody that's great. Nobody that can step up and take over a football game. No true superstar, which, I mean, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. But like you said, I think they have very good players. But, you face a team like the Cardinals, who I think are kind of the opposite, who I think have 5 or 6 great players, 4 or 5 maybe, who maybe are missing some depth in a way. But, you got Kyler Murray's and stuff that just can take over a game when they need to. And the Giants just kind of fell flat. I still like them. I still like the Giants. Definitely, I like everything about them. But Cardinals walked up in that joint and just kind of slapped their ass real quick.
So, I mean, first thing I say here, Hassan Reddick had 5 sacks in this game. Like, what? Like, that's crazy. I mean, this is how the Cardinals are supposed to look, exactly like you said. I mean, when they play good football, they're a good team, like you said. It's just they gotta go out there and do the damn thing every week. But looking to the other side, pretty sure Daniel Jones is getting some side money on a sponsorship from Butterfingers. Boy's got 28 fumbles in 25 games. Like, what?
He's got the large popcorn.
28 fumbles in 25 games, dude. I mean, you're playing a game where the most important thing is the ball and to hold on to it. And especially coming from the quarterback, man, that is brutal. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't hate Danny Jones. I really don't. I think he's pretty good QB, but he's got to fix that problem going forward. I mean, you just can't be giving the ball up that many times.
Yeah, I know. I agree. And, to kind of go back with Deshaun Watson, I think if you took Deshaun Watson and he was the quarterback in the New York Giants, I think that's a fucking
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I like Danny Jones. I don't love him. He's obviously, like you said, fumbles and I think almost always guaranteed to have a pick every game, but a good enough to get shit done. And you can obviously tell they're missing Saquon. Wayne Gallman's been playing really good, but Saquon being out, it just says what it is. And then, like you said, Arizona, that's how they should look. That was a game they should have won, and they did. And so, I don't know where Arizona fits into the playoff mix. I think if they did get there, they'd get bounced, which still I don't think is a bad thing for Arizona. I look at Arizona like the Dolphins. I mean, anything 500 or above this year is going to be a win for them. Obviously, I think they went 5 or 11 or 6 and 10 last year. So it's just good to see them be in a plus 500 situation. That's what they need. They got, this could be the start of something new. I like what they got going down there in Arizona. So, but shout out to Arizona. I still fuck with the Giants. I'm still on that wave. You can at me. So I don't know. We'll see about that. Next game. How about them Cowboys? Went out there. I mean, they beat up on the Bengals. Andy Dalton revenge tour, seeing his old team. Little red rifle. Lit them up. A couple tugs on them. But I mean, I just hate the Cowboys, but I think something is seriously wrong with Zeke. Don't know what's going on there. Just has not looked the same. I think they should give more snaps to Tony Pollard at this point. Kind of let him at least for a game or two to see what's going on there.
That might relight Zeke. You take the ball away from him a little bit, and someone else starts getting the job done. He might be like, "Oh shit, I got to step it up a little bit." But I don't know. Like you said, it's just been a 2020 season for Ezekiel Elliott for sure. But looking at their receiver core, which is super stacked, just highlighting Amari Cooper real quick. He's looking at his 5th 1,000-yard season in 6 career years. He's at 942 right now. We'll definitely get that. So shout out him. This win from the Cowboys helped the Bengals secure that 3rd pick in the draft that they're most likely going to end up with. So, I mean, they just need to protect Joe Burrow when he comes back. I mean, Joe Burrow, when he's on the field, is legitimately worth 2 touchdowns a game, however you look at it, So they just got to figure out the pieces around him. He's in off-season training up. He's going to get that NFL bod, to be prepared to probably take some hits this season. So, I don't know. I really want him to get healthy, go through some good
yeah, I hope he comes back and lights shit up, dude. And like you said, they'll have a good draft pick this year. I'd spend 3 or 4 of them joints on some offensive linemen just to make sure you got to protect them. And
get a fullback in there, dude. Let's get a use check type. Let's get some blockers for this boy. Let's get another big tight end. Let's hook it up for Joe Burrow.
Hey, Brandon Allen didn't look too bad, but obviously Joe Burrow's the guy.
Brandon Allen, dude. What?
All right.
Come on, man.
Fuck Brandon Allen, he said. But yeah, I don't know. Cowboys won against the Bengals. I'm not looking any deeper into that. Fuck them. But it is what it is. Next game we got is some Raiders and the Colts. Raiders were another team I was really, really high on for a couple weeks. They're starting to just teeter out a little bit. Still think they're playing all right football. Derek Carr had a good, bad game. It was really weird, threw a couple picks. And obviously Josh Jacob been a little flaky past couple weeks. But, hey, it's just to me, every single week I have to evaluate if I like the Colts or the Titans more. I really do. On paper, I think I like the Titans more just because I like Derrick Henry and Tannehill. But the Colts are just winning football games, man. They pounding the rock. They have a solid defense. And Phillip Rivers is I don't know how the fuck he's throwing that football, but they're just kind of getting it done, you know. And like I said, I think behind the Browns, the Colts rushing core is one of my favorites in the league. I think they just got like a three-headed monster, a bunch of dudes that can go out and get it. And like I said, T.Y. Hilton to me is one of the more underrated receivers ever. Like some other players they got. Obviously on the defense, they looked really solid against the Raiders, who I think, just been, I think they're still in position to grab a wild card spot, but I don't know. I don't know what that team's going to look like going forward.
I
My
mean,
Raiders stock has fallen.
exactly. The same thing happened to them last season. They play super good in the first half, and then the second half they just fall off. Raiders are 1-3 in their last 4 games, and that one we all know the Jets gave them that game on that Hail Mary. So I mean, I don't know. Raiders got to figure something out. They literally fired their defensive coordinator Paul Gunther, and D-line coach Rod Marinelli gets that interim spot, so maybe that can help them up. But I mean, they just let the Colts got 44 points on them. Jonathan Taylor had 2 on the ground. T.Y. Hilton had 2 in the air. I mean, that's a good football team.
Watch out for Jonathan Taylor, dude. He be cooking folk. Speaking of the Jets, though, bro, them joints lost 30-40 to Seattle. I just want to know what that
happened. Like, really?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, honestly, and so my thing is, what I saw today is the only reason the Jets are not winning football games is because if Jacksonville stays with only 1 win and the Jets end up winning a game, the tiebreaker goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars because it is based off schedule strength.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you, the Jets will not risk doing that because, like I said, Trevor Lawrence, generational. You would take him. I think if the Jets
lost one game ever. High school, dude, college, ever.
Like you said, I think he would have been the number 1 overall pick last year and possibly even the year before that. Like, there always is that slight potential that he's going to be a bust and whatnot. And I'm not trying to turn this into no Trevor Lawrence ass kissing fest. But Andrew Luck wasn't bad and he was rated the same. Like, he's just kind of cut from that cloth. If you're dominant quarterback in college, he's got the body for it. I think he's good up top. And obviously being at Clemson, he's had great talent surrounded by him, which you get to the Jets, and that probably wouldn't be the case for a little bit. But I think then if that fell through though, and the Jets were sitting at 2 or 3, I think you'd have to sit there and reevaluate Sam Darnold. I'd sit back and be like, is Justin Fields really a better option than Sam Darnold? Maybe, but then you could think about trading back and just acquiring enough talent to put around Darnold to mess around with it. It's just my only thing with Darnold is I've just said before is just like the culture and where he's at mentally, and I think he just needs a fresh start. I really do end up thinking that Sam Darnold winds up with like Pittsburgh or something like that, depending on how Roethlisberger does sit behind him for a year, or he just needs a breath of fresh air. I just fucked saying that up like 3 times, but because I say Sam Darnold has had moments, dude. He's had moments where you're like, that's an NFL quarterback.
He's not the problem, dude. We've said this week and week.
He's definitely a part of it for sure. He's made some dummy mistakes.
I don't know. That Jets team is just, like you said, full rebuild. I mean, we don't got to beat it to the ground. But looking at the Seahawks here, Russell Wilson is having the best year in his career, literally 36 touchdowns on him right now. And will get more in the next 3 games here. And, obviously it's against the Jets, but this is the first time we saw a complete win from the Seahawks. The Seahawks defense have just been their bane this year. So to see them hold the Jets, I mean, they're the Jets. So, I mean, take that however it is. But, I mean, they held them to 3 points.
My thing with Seattle is looking forward. They play Washington, LA, and the 49ers. And one of the biggest struggles we've seen, I mean, they only have 4 losses, but one of the biggest struggles we've seen the Seahawks have is playing against really, really good front sevens. And Washington, LA, and the 49ers all bring that to the table. So when I look at it like that, I mean, I don't think they do, but that could seriously be a 1-2, 0-3 for Seattle if they don't play their cards right, just because they've had some mediocre-ass line play and protecting Russell Wilson. So we talk about those matchups later when we get to it, but, between Washington, LA, and the 49ers, I think those are games that Seattle has to lose. And like you said, they've had some problems this year consistently running the football that they need to clamp down on if they're going to be a serious team. And that offensive line needs to hold up for Russell Wilson to be able to make plays. And like you said, they just went out, stomped the Jets. It is what it is. like you said, we don't got to beat it in the ground. But Jets ain't fucking around, bro. They are not. This is a perfect rebuild, fucking whatever they call it. They are not going to mess around winning a game. They got 3 more to go, and then we got them, baby. I'm going to get my Trevor Lawrence jersey. It is what it is. So I'm hype. I just got to accept that. But it is what it is. Going to talk about another game here, a little NFC North matchup. Green Bay, A-Rod and the boys down there in Detroit, which was surprising. Look at that scoreboard. Didn't expect the Lions to be able to run up 24 points on the Packers like that. They look kind of solid. And but, you know, Aaron Rodgers, dude, guaranteed 250, 2 touchdowns at minimum, just guaranteed to have that for a game. And obviously Aaron Rodgers and the Davante Adams connection might be, you know, 1 or 2 best in the league. You know, you can look at Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, and then there is Davante and Aaron Rodgers, you know.
Looking at Davante Adams here, so only 3 times in NFL history has a receiver had 17 touchdowns and averaged 100 yards per game. The last time it happened was 2003 with Randy Moss, and Davante Adams is on pace to be the first ever to have more than 17 touchdowns and average 100 yards per game. So, I mean, he's just having an insane season, and adding that onto Aaron Rodgers, I mean, that's just that 1-2, probably the best in the league at this point. Like, literally, has to be.
I'd personally take Mahomes and Hill, but I fuck with that. I agree with you. Like you said, Green Bay is just a legit football team. That's a team where I think, you know, they've proven they lack a little bit on defense, especially in the secondary. But Aaron Rodgers and especially Davante Adams are going to figure it out and can just outscore you. And obviously what Aaron Jones is able to do on both sides. So, I mean, you know, yeah. I think right now, you know, Green Bay and New Orleans to me is the NFC matchup, and Seattle's right there. We've said that for a couple of weeks, but I really think that's it. You know, Saints maybe wise on the defense you could edge that conversation over Green Bay, but Green Bay's legit, dude. They're right there. This feels like Aaron Rodgers' year to do something, dude. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the offseason and the shit that happened with Jordan Love and all that. I think that boy's out here for blood. There definitely is some times, though, to me, Aaron Rodgers just looks completely out of it. He just kind of throws off a vibe to me sometimes. He doesn't really give a fuck, especially when they're down. We saw that. I feel like we saw that the whole game against Tampa. But either way, I mean, this is a team when they're ahead, they're not going to look back, and they're just going to get to you. But I got to give a shout out to the Lions for kind of, you know, making it a competitive game. Matty Stafford didn't look bad.
Yeah, the boy DeAndre Swift has had 6 scores in his last 7 games. I mean, in a second-round draft pick, that's insane return on investment. Like, that's what you want. So good for him. But I mean, it's a wash for the Lions this season. We're just trying to pick positives.
Yeah, I really am struggling. 2 other teams I'm really struggling to find some points here to talk about is the Falcons and the Chargers, dude. Just a sloppy ass football game, dude. It just
both sides.
I got to give a big shout out to Young Hoku though, bro, holding it down with that driller leg, bro. Just sheesh, that boy's on something. But yeah, I mean, Matt Ryan looked sloppy. Justin Herbert looked a little better, I guess, but it was just a bad game. I think 2 bad teams, and it was a bad game. We usually have our DMP thing where it's 2 bad teams make a good one, a la Broncos, Panthers, and whatnot. But this game to me was just shite, and it's just sloppy. I could have gave a fuck about this game. It's just I thought maybe the Falcons could have snuck that. I thought they should have won, but it's good for the Chargers, obviously. You know, talented roster, being able to get it done. That's a good look for Herbert. Just I don't know, dude.
Second half, Falcons suck every game this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they had those 17 points in the first half. They did not score anything in the second half.
Nathan.
I mean, that's just a rough game. But just quickly before we move on here, Calvin Ridley in his first 3 years, he's got 40 games, 2,700 yards, and 25 touchdowns. That's insane in 3 years. I mean, you compare that to Julio. He's got the same stats minus probably about 50 yards it was. So, I mean, with Julio getting older and starting to miss more and more time due to injuries and stuff, I mean, that Calvin Ridley's a bucket for them over there. But
okay, bro, that's two of Alabama's finest right there. And I mean, Julio Jones is a legend, bro. That dude's gonna go down as a legend for sure. And Calvin Ridley seems like they got their next guy up definitely, and so he's been out there. Like you said, it's been a walking bucket. So I don't know, two bullshit teams I don't want to talk about anymore. So the next game we're going to talk about is the Washington football team versus Nicky Mullins, my guy, and the crew. And Washington kind of just sneaking this one out. They looked really, really good. They obviously lead the division now at 6-7. Hey, Washington's defense to me is also legit. That boy Chase Young, dude, is a bully out there. Just bully,
if you don't lock your door at night, Chase Young's gonna come over fuck your mom, dude.
That dude can do whatever he wants, bro. It just is what it is. Just playing bully ball out there. And there's one play, dude, where he pushed Nick Mullins down, dude. It looked like a fucking kid at a park, dude, just getting his head pushed into the sand. Chase Young is just bigger, stronger than you, and he's gonna show you. And it's an impressive win for Washington. And obviously San Fran has been San Fran this year, but I still think they're a good football team. And that's obviously a big, huge win for Washington. I think they didn't really do jack shit in the passing department, but they really didn't need to. They were able to kind of run the ball a little bit, and like I said, just play that defense, really hold the 49ers to not much of anything. Nick Mullins didn't have the worst stat line, but Washington just kind of outed him. I will give one shout out to 49ers. That boy Brandon Ayuk's kind of coming around, dude, looking solid. Go up there and get some yards, but. I like Washington. That was the one, if you would have asked me 4 to 5 weeks ago, I would have thought this division would have been up between the Giants and the Cowboys. But, Washington.
Everyone's still in it at this point. I mean, NFC East in the, third, fourth of the season, all the teams are starting to look all right. So, I mean, good for them there. But end of the day, Washington still needs to find a quarterback. I mean, it's just rough for them. Alex Smith, they got a couple good games out of him. They threw Dwayne Haskins in. I mean, I fucking hate Dwayne Haskins, dude. He should not be an NFL quarterback, in my opinion. He's boo-boo caca, not good.
Just haven't seen him.
Yeah, okay, I don't know. Send him to the Jets. But 49ers had more than 200 yards than Washington, total stats, but turned the ball over 3 times, lost them the game. Yep. So, I mean, that's the end of the story. Washington is trying to keep that first place in the NFC East. So, I mean, we'll see what they can do. These next 3 games in the NFC East are all going to be great games.
So that's the thing, too. I'm not going to lie. We'll definitely talk about it on Friday. I really do think Washington could edge out Seattle in the next game. We'd obviously get into that more later on. But, we talk about quarterback and what that's going to look like for Washington. I mean, I could honestly see them running it back a year with Alex Smith. I think during the offseason, they move off Dwayne Haskins, and I think Alex Smith has looked good enough to maybe give Ron Rivera some hope that they can come up with a scheme around him and just try to find some other really solid pieces. So I'm not going to lie, I don't think they're that many pieces away. Obviously, a quarterback is a huge one, but I look at that team kind of top to bottom, and I'm like, they could get a little better on the offensive line. Like I said, I still think they have a great front 7. I think they're good at safety, secondary is maybe a little bit of a hole, but it's just going to come down to now just, having a year under Ron Rivera and obviously, like I said, what they do at quarterback. But I think Washington's going to be all right. I think they're heading in the right direction. They got good culture. I mean, we got to think Ron Rivera is a coach that got a team to a Super Bowl. Yep. So, I mean, he's a good head coach who wins football games.
He walked in that piece, changed the whole name up, dude. Literally.
Changed the whole name up. Like you said, that man's going through cancer, chemo right now at halftime, getting some IV bags, bro, and stuff. We're going to go out there and get these dubs. So just shout out to Washington, dude. That's good. That's good to see. And obviously, like I said, dude, Chase Young, dude, eats babies. Like, just a savage, bro. Just, I would not want to ever see that guy anywhere in a hostile environment. But that dude's going to be around for a minute. So I'll be looking forward to see that. I might have fuck around and get a Chase Young jersey, dude. I give a fuck about Washington, but that boy is that good. Next game we're going to talk about, though, move on here, is Yo Squad, Philadelphia Eagles, getting a big dub over New Orleans Saints. Now, all right, let me break it down. I'll hand it off. so I think it was last week when they made the decision that Jalen Hurts was going to be the starting quarterback. Doug Peterson said maybe it could, create some sort of spark for this team. And obviously, I was making a joke to you at one point about how Doug Peterson said there's a lot of things we need to change on this football team, and the only thing they changed was the quarterback position. So, I mean, that's saying something, I guess. And I think for yesterday, it did kind of give him that spark. It was something new because I went in and thinking, listen, you're about to throw Jalen Hurts out there against arguably I'd say top 3 team in the NFL. The Saints are legit like that. And so, I didn't, if he had a good game, great. But if he had a bad game, I wasn't going to take anything away from Jalen Hurts, if we're being honest. And I wouldn't even say he really had a great game. I think he got 100 passing, 100 rushing, had some good numbers. But I think for just that time period, with that game Sunday, it did create a little spark for them. And do I think it's the answer? No. But, I just want to know. I bet Carson Wentz, dude, is just in a dark place right now. I just want to know how he feels. Like he said, this has been going on for 3 years. Obviously, with Nicky Foles winning the MVP, obviously Carson Wentz got him in that position to be there. And Nick Foles just kind of capping it off. But then just a lot of things happening when Nick Foles left and whatnot, and Carson Wentz just not really be accepted into the locker room. And I know you keep saying things like, I don't think that's the move to get rid of him and whatnot. And I don't want to say Carson Wentz is a bad football player. It's just something about him right now. I think in this Philly culture, I just think something's got to be up. I just don't really know what's going on. And obviously, numbers wise and whatnot, he's having a very, very bad year. Sure, we've seen that from quarterbacks. But I just saw Sunday with Jalen Hurts on the field. That team just, I think, played with a different energy. It just felt way different. And like I said, there's this shot of Carson Wentz kind of on the sideline by himself. And like I said, it was just kind of sad. And, like I said, does Jalen Hurts fix everything? Of course not. They still have a lot of other issues, whether, it's coaching, GM, whatever, talent. Just, I don't know. I don't want to say Carson Wentz isn't the answer. I just don't know if it's in Philly, brother. I just don't know. But you're stuck with it. You got 3 years left. Who's going to eat that contract? The only possibility I'm seeing that I could say is Phillip Rivers is on a 1-year deal with Indianapolis. After it's done, it's over. I bet Frank Reich would pull the trigger. I'm getting back and hooking up with Carson Wentz again. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, that's not crazy to say, but I'll stick by. He's not going anywhere. I really don't think so. But with that being said, I mean, shout out Jalen Hurts, got in there, got his first start, and he played very well. I mean, like you said, it wasn't a game where you're going to shit your dick over, but I mean, went in there and did the job. Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders combined for 221 rushing yards. Sanders got 2 rushing TDs. I've been saying it week after week. Let's fucking feed this dude. He still didn't get over 20 carries. He got 18 carries. But, I mean, he's just out there eating up some yards, and that's what you got to let him do. The last time an Eagles QB rushed for over 100 yards was Miracle in the Meadowlands 2 with Mike Vick. So, I mean, shout out Jalen Hurts.
That might be that spark they did need, dude. You can open up a lot of other things with Hurts at the quarterback position.
Along with all that being said, the Eagles didn't let up 1 sack this game. The Saints have the 4th best Saints are 4th best in sacks per game in the league. So where the fuck was that the past 13 weeks? They just
telling you.
I don't know. So I mean, take that how you will. Carson Wentz
got to be
feeling some type of way about that.
I don't think they fuck with him, bro. I don't think that team fucks with Carson Wentz.
So, I mean, yeah, we'll just leave it there. They got the dub. I'm happy about it. Dougie P has not confirmed that he's going to start next week, but Jalen Hurts is definitely going to start next week.
He has. They should.
So, yeah, looking on the other side of the ball here, there's been a lot of questions about Taysom Hill before he got that start when Breeze went down. This is his 3rd game with 200-plus throwing yards in 4 tries. So he just had 1 game where he didn't break 200. That's insane. This was obviously a trap game for the Saints to fuck up their number 1 seed. So for the Saints now to keep that, they have to win out, and the Packers need to lose a game. And if that scenario doesn't happen, they can still get that number 1 seed, but it's a complicated list of bullshit. So, yeah, this was a big knock on the Saints here, especially with, excuse me.
That's some throat goop.
But yeah, I don't know. Saints just gotta finish their season strong here. I mean, they're obviously a huge playoff contender, And just, I mean, losing to the Eagles is not a good look. Like, gonna be honest there. So they got to figure that out.
Yeah, no, I think Saints are a team that can win the Super Bowl. They get Drew Brees back next week, which is good for them. Like you said, they can. I mean, in all reality, they could go
They're
1-2
fine
or
with
whatever
Taysom.
it is.
They're
They're going to
fine with
be all right.
Taysom.
Yeah, they are. They're literally, I think, Sean Payton's 7-1 without Drew Brees, so that's super impressive. And like you said, defensively, I don't think they have any superstars like that, but guys like Cam Jordan, Marcus Williams, Marshawn Lattimore, they got players on defense.
Malcolm Jenkins, dude, is
Iron Man.
You want to talk about the brain at the safety position? Dude is literally smart, just super smart. He might not put up the craziest stats, but
knows football.
Just calling plays from the safety position and just being able to pick apart the offense, especially going against Philly, his former team. You really expected a dub from the Saints here, even being a Philly fan. So I mean,
dude's the Rondo of safeties.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I got to give a shout out to the Eagles though, dude. Going and getting it done. Like I say, it just felt different. I don't know who they play next week, but I think you give Jalen Hurts one more.
He earned it. He earned it for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's just a team. Like you said, I know it's laughable and stuff to we talk about the Jets and stuff, but the Philly is a team that has to figure out a lot of shit to get back, I think, on the right track. But they got a dub. That's all we're worried about. Shout out to them. And so we only got one more game on the schedule. Sunday night football between the Buffalo Bills and the Steelers. I'm about to say something wild. Besides the Chiefs, Bills might be the best team in the league, dude. I'm not even fronting. They might be the best team in the league. The Bills remind me of the Steelers like 10 years ago, bro. Josh Allen reminds me of a mini Ben. Listen, I don't think they're great at one thing particularly, but they're very good, I think, in all aspects. The defense, like I said, defense is not elite, but they play really good when they need to. I think they lead the league in like most takeaways in the fourth quarter, so it's great situational football. They turn it on when they need to. Like I know in our preview, I said some things about the Steelers where I did think they would lose, based off a couple things. My biggest issue with the Steelers right now is they had, half a season a couple years back where James Conner looked like a very, very good running back, and I think he is good. But honestly, for the past year and a half, the Steelers have not been able to establish a run game. Like I think James Conner, I think, is solid, but just obviously sometimes you can't stay on the field, and just they haven't been able to run the ball, and that's one of the biggest things when you have talent like Juju and what's his name there, Chase Claypool in the cut,
Ray McLeod.
Ray McLeod, you got Eric Ebron at the tight end. You need to establish a running game to open that up for those guys because those dudes are playmakers, and they're going to get jammed up if teams are pressing. They're not stacking the box. And but I look on the Buffalo side of the ball, dude. Regular season, I think. I don't know if this team wins a playoff game or not. I've been saying that all year.
Well, how are you going to say they're the second best team in the NFL and then say they're not going to win a playoff game?
I think if the Bills met the Saints right now, they'd win. I think the Bills, I don't know about Green Bay. I don't think so. I think if the Bills met the Seahawks again, they'd win. I think the Bills met the Rams, they'd win as much as I'm up on the Rams. I just like the Bills. I like everything. Sean McDermott. I saw something during the game that blew my mind that McDermott and Mike Tomlin actually went to the same college together at the same time.
Oh, shit.
Which is crazy. And like I said, the Bills remind me of an older Steelers team, just like gritty. Listen, we're talking about places where it's cold ass weather. People are depressed. They're angry. They're just fucking pissed off all the time, dude. And the Buffalo plays like that to me. Josh Allen has looked great this year. Like I said, the running game is good. They don't have they don't have a number one. To me, it's a lot like the Rams, for example, where they don't have a number one guy, but between Zach Moss and Singletary and all that, they got guys that can step up and go get it. Obviously, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs combo has been wet. And like I said, the fourth quarter defense the Bills have been playing, to me, is phenomenal. And like I said, I took a huge leap saying that, but maybe not number two. Green Bay, Saints. I think the Bills are right there. Kansas City, Green Bay, New Orleans, Buffalo, Los Angeles.
All right.
I'm off the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, Steelers had a tough go here. I mean, they were undefeated, lost last week to Washington, and again here to the Bills. Little sidebar on that. You've been seeing Juju do his little TikToks on every team's logo. Bills pregame were pissed about that and talked about it in the media afterwards. So I think they were fired up going into this game. I mean, looking at Stephon Diggs here, he's on pace to be the best wide receiver in Bills history. Franchise record touchdowns as well as yardage. So, I mean, that's insane. But the Steelers just got to get it back together here. I mean, they're kind of falling apart these last two games, really not looking good. Only putting up 15 here against the Bills. I mean, that's not a good look. Their next three games, they got the Bengals, division rival. So they got the Bengals, the Colts, and the Browns. So I really, even with the Bengals, I don't think any three of those games are going to be easy. So, I mean, the Steelers got to finish out strong on their season. They're obviously going to make the playoffs with their insane record. But I don't know. They just got to really, really prepare for the offseason at this point. I mean, you just can't lose out from here.
No, that's going to be a team that, obviously is going to figure out what they want to do with Big Ben. They're going to have to figure out what they want to do with James Conner. Like I said, I like James Conner, dude. I just don't think he's that guy. Like I said, since Le'Veon hasn't been there, they just haven't been able to run the football like that, which I think that's what type of team the Steelers are, because Steelers have always had good receivers, and obviously Ben has been the quarterback for that team for like 15 years now, and he can get it done.
That's insane.
They've had a couple of sloppy losses this year. I think they've won 4 or 5 games, only up by like 1 possession. So I mean, obviously they're still a great football team, dude. They're sitting at 11-2. They're obviously going to make the playoffs. And could maybe do something in the playoffs. But I just think if they played again next week, Buffalo wins that game again. If DeAndre Hopkins didn't catch that Hail Murray from against Buffalo would have been
100%. Yeah, no, they won that game for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's just a freak play.
So I don't know. I like the Bills going forward. Like I said, that might be a little too strong now I think about it, saying like 2 or 3. It's a top 5 football team to me for sure.
I get down with top 5.
Just wherever you want to put them at that point. So I mean, I don't know. I like the Bills. Like I said, AFC Championship, don't know quite yet. I don't know if they're playoff ready quite yet. You know what I mean? Josh Allen's only made it once. When I look at Buffalo compared to the Titans and whatnot. I even got to look at that matchup against the Browns.
That Buffalo team is kind of a younger team and might not have that playoff, experience. But
Bills are going to be all right.
Don't forget about Stephon Diggs, though. That crazy playoff play. What was it, last year or the year before? Just got the tutty. So, I mean.
Oh, the Minneapolis Miracle?
Yep. They got some people. For sure.
They got some people. I got to poop. So we about to wrap this sucker up. That was another beautiful DMP Sports Talk Show. Be on the lookout. We got some NBA talk coming real soon. I'm going to drop a video, talk about some shit. Boy, Giannis just signed a bag. And what the fuck's going on with James Harden? Find out next episode on DMZ. It's your boy, Rogers, Richman, Salami Squad. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.